This journey begins by tracing and cutting the leather into three pieces: a front, back, and welt portion. This is the most important part of the entire process. It's what sets the aesthetics of the sheath as well as the proper fit and retention. Too tight and the blade will cut into the welt or the stitching. Too loose and the knife rattles around inside, causing damage, and the sheath is useless. The goal is friction without pressure. Once these pieces are cut, there's no stretching it back. The leather is wasted. I use high quality American cattle hide. I hate wasting material, and especially when it once came from a living thing. Tracing and cutting this welt section is by far the most critical part of this build. This is what gives proper fit and retention to the sheath. As long as these pieces were cut correctly, everything else after this is refinement. To give the leather some color, I dabbed the dye on to give a weathered, antiqued look. This gives a little more of a unique touch than applying an even coat. Clean edges are what separate handmade from homemade. I use a product called Tokonol to seal and burnish the edges. I use these small squeeze bottles and mix it with water for easy application. This old piece of work paint works great for the final polish. Cutting the welt transitions at an angle here helps the knife slide more easily into the sheath. A little too much glue came out here, but I guess that's what you get for trying to squeeze the last bit out of a bottle. Once again, proper fit here is key. I double check because once this is glued, there's no going back. I trim up the edges a bit and even them out so I can accurately lay out my stitch lines in the next step. Even spacing here is everything. If the stitch line wanders, the whole sheath looks off. The tool I'm using here is called the pricking iron. It punches evenly shaped and spaced holes that also angle the stitching. That look is something that can only be achieved through hand stitching. The hand stitching process begins by expanding the holes using an awl. Then, after the tedious process of threading the needle, I begin the process of saddle stitching. Unlike machine stitching, saddle stitching locks every stitch individually. If one breaks, the rest still hold. After backstitching to secure the loose ends, I cut the thread and burn the ends to seal them shut. Finally, I hammer the stitch to tighten it up and close any gaps. I use the belt grinder to even up the edges. I use a damp sponge to keep the leather cool and prevent it from burning. Then, just like before, I bevel the edges, sand, and burnish. This is the last chance to clean everything up. At this point, I'm not shaping anymore, I'm perfecting. The final step is to apply a top coat sealer to the leather. A knife like this deserves protection that matches the work that went into it. Perfect. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for sticking around. As a thank you, I'm offering 15% off this finished knife sheath combo on my website using code YTCHEF. If you haven't already, check out my channel for more content like this, and subscribe to be notified when more comes out. Thanks again for watching.